Northern Syria is once again engulfed in chaos as violent clashes erupted in the province of Aleppo following a surprise attack by the rebel group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, and allied factions on Syrian government forces. The attack has already claimed the lives of nearly 60 combatants, marking one of the most significant escalations in the region in recent years. This sudden outbreak of violence has drawn the immediate attention of both Syria and its ally Russia, whose air forces launched coordinated strikes against the rebels for the first time in years, signaling the gravity of the situation and the potential for further conflict. The offensive by HTS, a powerful faction controlling large portions of Idlib province and neighboring regions, represents a bold and calculated attempt to disrupt the relative stability in northern Syria. For years, HTS has been one of the most organized and formidable opponents of the Syrian government, conducting sporadic skirmishes but avoiding operations of this scale in Aleppo. The surprise attack appears to have been meticulously planned, targeting key Syrian army positions and igniting widespread fighting across the area. While the exact motives behind this sudden escalation remain unclear, it underscores the ongoing volatility of the Syrian conflict and the fragile nature of ceasefires that have periodically paused hostilities. The Syrian military, taken off guard by the scope of the rebel offensive, quickly responded by mobilizing its forces and calling on Russian air support. The response was swift and severe. Syrian and Russian jets launched a series of strikes aimed at halting the rebel advance, targeting HTS strongholds, supply lines, and logistical hubs. According to the Syrian Ministry of Defense, the airstrikes were precise and extensive, designed to neutralize the threat posed by the rebels and restore control over the contested areas. This marks the first joint aerial campaign in Aleppo in years, highlighting the seriousness with which Damascus and Moscow view the latest developments. The clashes have exacted a heavy toll on both sides. Reports indicate that nearly 60 combatants, including Syrian soldiers and HTS fighters, have been killed since the fighting began. The death toll is expected to rise as hostilities continue, with both sides refusing to back down. HTS, which has often relied on guerrilla tactics and territorial control to maintain its influence, now faces the combined might of the Syrian army and Russian air power. However, the group's ability to mount such a large-scale attack suggests that it has significant resources and a well-coordinated command structure, making it a formidable opponent. For civilians caught in the crossfire, the renewed violence has been devastating. Thousands of residents in northern Aleppo have been forced to flee their homes, fearing for their safety as the fighting intensifies. Humanitarian organizations have raised alarms about the deteriorating situation, warning of a looming crisis as displaced families struggle to access basic necessities. Aid workers in the region have reported shortages of food, water, and medical supplies, exacerbated by the destruction of infrastructure and the ongoing violence. The Aleppo region, already ravaged by over a decade of war, now faces the prospect of further instability and suffering. The involvement of Russian forces has drawn particular attention from international observers. Moscow, which has been a key ally of the Assad regime throughout the Syrian conflict, has reiterated its commitment to combating extremist groups like HTS and maintaining stability in the region. The airstrikes conducted by Russian jets underscore the strategic importance of northern Syria to Moscow, which views its presence in the Middle East as essential to its geopolitical influence. The use of Russian air power alongside Syrian forces also serves as a message to other actors in the region, including Turkey, which has its own military presence in northern Syria and has clashed with both HTS and Syrian government forces in the past. The timing of the HTS attack has raised questions about its broader implications. Analysts suggest that the offensive may be an attempt to test the Syrian army's defenses and potentially secure new territory ahead of the winter months, when fighting typically slows due to harsh conditions. Others speculate that HTS may be seeking to assert its dominance over rival factions in northern Syria, using the attack as a show of strength. Regardless of the motives, the escalation has disrupted the fragile status quo in the region and threatens to spark a wider conflict if not contained. The response from Damascus has been uncompromising. Syrian officials have vowed to crush the rebel offensive and restore order to Aleppo province, emphasizing the government's determination to prevent HTS from gaining a foothold in the region. The joint Syrian-Russian air campaign, described as one of the most intense in recent years, reflects this resolve. However, the effectiveness of the airstrikes in halting the rebel advance remains uncertain, as HTS fighters are known for their ability to adapt and operate in challenging conditions. The broader implications of this escalation are concerning. The renewed violence risks drawing in other regional and international actors, further complicating an already intricate conflict. Turkey, which maintains a significant military presence in northern Syria and has a complex relationship with HTS, has yet to officially respond to the latest developments. Ankara's reaction will be critical in determining whether the clashes remain localized or escalate into a wider confrontation involving multiple parties. As the situation unfolds, the prospects for a peaceful resolution appear increasingly remote. Both sides have suffered heavy losses, and the deep-seated animosities that underpin the Syrian conflict show no signs of abating. For the civilians caught in the middle, the immediate priority is survival, as aid agencies scramble to provide assistance in an environment fraught with danger and uncertainty. The coming days will be critical in shaping the trajectory of this latest escalation. The Syrian conflict, now in its 13th year, continues to defy easy solutions, and the renewed fighting in Aleppo serves as a stark reminder of the challenges that lie ahead. Whether this surge in violence marks a temporary flare-up or the beginning of a more protracted and devastating phase of the war remains to be seen. For now, the people of northern Syria must endure yet another chapter of turmoil in a conflict that has already taken an immense toll on the region and its inhabitants.